who are here helping put this together. So welcome aboard, and thank you for your efforts here today. Let's give those folks a round of applause, please. Before I call Monsignor Mannion up for the closing benediction, I won't be long-winded, but I'll tell you, I could not be prouder as a police chief for the work that you all do day in and day out. You know, as I sit I'm the sitting president of the Police Executive Research Forum, which is out of Washington, D.C., and in that, it affords me the ability to travel the country and see police departments and police leaders and police officers from Maine to Florida, from the state of Washington to California, all along the border, all the way up to the north. And I got to tell you that the work that you do is second to none. Second to none. The environment in which you work each and every day, and you have become conditioned to it, and you don't realize until you go somewhere else how challenging it is. The things that you are doing, particularly with the community policing, the connecting, the embracing the identity of a guardian more so than a warrior, the de-escalation techniques. You realize that you all have responded to more than 7,000 calls for service in which somebody has told us that somebody was armed with a firearm over the last 3 years. And in those 7,000 incidents, you've seized more than 800 guns and made more than 850 arrests. And you can count the amount of times that you've discharged your firearm on one hand. And that's in large part because you've either been engaged by gunfire or you were ambushed by somebody that had an imitation firearm, which we didn't realize until afterwards. To me, that is as heroic as anything else that could be done. The work that you see in these pictures up here, that's what being a real cop is all about. We have our moments that they make TV shows about and movies. This is what alters lives. This is what matters. And I got to tell you, I didn't always think this way. But I've matured throughout my career. And I'm proud to see that many of you, far early in your career, get it much sooner than I did. It's nothing short of remarkable what you do day in and day out. It's not by happenstance that the leader of the free world came here back in 2015 and held you up as a model. Think about that for a second. The President of the United States visited one police department to hold up and say, everyone else take notice. And it wasn't because of the fancy speeches I give or the amount of shiny objects I can put on this uniform, and I think I can get one or two more things to put on here. It's because of what you do. What you do. The interactions you have day in and day out. Each one of them is a deposit into a relationship bank account that invariably, in our line of work, something is going to occur. It's going to occur. We know that. That is not the time to try to make friends. We have to be doing it beforehand. And one thing that we've understood here, finally, is that we can reduce crime by being more focused on being community builders than crime fighters sometimes. Don't think that these pop-up barbecues and a lot of things that we get from our friends from the foundation, that's just for social media or that's just for the media folks. Every one of them is a significant investment in what we're looking to do in the city. And they're going over the logistics and all the things you can imagine to go into a presidential visit. And at the conclusion of the call, the person who oversees, or oversaw at that point in time, the president's forward team. Before the president goes anywhere, there's a team that goes in, does all the security, the logistics. The person that oversaw that was on the call. I ended up meeting him afterwards, establishing a relationship. But during the call, at the end of the call, he says to me, Chief, I got to tell you, it's amazing what your cops are doing out there. Nothing short of amazing. And I'm thinking to myself, he read an article or he saw something on TV. He goes on to tell me that his father-in-law owns the laundromat at 28th and Mickle, 27th and Mickle, right down 27th Street. And that the cops that you guys are working that area took the time to stop in, speak to him, get to know him. And none of you had any idea that this, what you probably thought was an immigrant that owned a shop, was 1 degree removed from the leader of the free world. So when the president was talking about places to go and they were looking, there was a validation of the work that you do by the person that was briefing the president day in and day out of his security and his detail and his logistics. You never know who you're dealing with. Council Vice President was just talking about he was car stopped several months ago. And he called and told me about it. And he was treated with respect and dignity throughout the entire process. That's what being a cop is all about. That's what's separating you from. And just a simple act of treating people with respect and dignity goes a very long way. And I couldn't be prouder of you. And, you know, Officer Stinsman, we're going to, we'll recognize you in what you did at the last event. At the next event with the incident that you had. And, but I have to tell you, the things that I saw from your body-worn camera, the things that I see from your body-worn camera, many of you in this room, when I go and I view them and I review, I am in awe of what you do. I really am. I've never seen, and I've been doing this almost a quarter of a century now, and I've never seen police work done with such professionalism, such compassion, in such a challenging environment. So on that note, in traditional fashion, what we will do, I'll ask the command staff to please come up here and stand up here in the front. But what's happened over time, particularly with military and paramilitary organizations, is the salute is the sign of respect. And in tradition, it goes from the junior officer to the senior in rank. But on this day, we're honoring you. And the executive command staff and the leadership of this organization is our honor to salute you in the work that you do. So command staff, attention. Present arms. Order arms. Please be seated.